Hello, everybody. My name is Marilyn, and I just want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. And I just want to get on here. Actually, I've been on here quite a few times, but I want to get on here to just go over my VSG sleeve surgery that I had. This is my first time getting on to explain, my procedure, and I hope it's a help to someone. So I just wanted to touch bases with everybody to just let everybody know how I've been doing. So let's see. It's been almost a year actually that I started this journey. Um, and it's been a journey. Definitely has been a journey. Let me just first off start by saying when this was first introduced to me by my doctors, there was no way that I was thinking or even considering doing this. Um, just the thought of someone telling me that they're going to take out most of your stomach, I was like, really? Not me, not Marilyn, you're not. I was scared to death of it. I'm actually a diabetic. I have high blood pressure. I have high cholesterol. I've had back issues, back problems. I have a bulging disc. I've had surgery on both of my knees. I've had surgery on both of my ankles. I, I, I'm just a walking person that's had a lot of surgeries. So, that being said, the diabetes was the biggest problem, and for the life of me, could not get it under control. I've been a diabetic for 9 years now. Um, it's just been really getting out of hand. I've tried so many things. I mean, who hasn't? Like, when you're trying to do this VSG thing, I've been on many diets. I've cut back a lot on my foods. I've worked out a lot at gyms on my own. Of course, I will admit I fell off a few times. I wasn't consistent. But even when I was consistent, the weight just said, nope. Yeah, here or there, a couple of pounds, 5 pounds. I think maybe 10 pounds at the most I've ever lost on my own. And that was very encouraging, but at the same time, I'm one of those quick result people, and I know I can't have quick results. But it seems like the weight comes on real quick without any problem. But yeah, so I want to say for 2 years straight, when I would go see my doctors, like my regular, primary care doctor, and I also saw a diabetic doctor. They both would always bring up the fact of, Marilyn, you really should try to consider the VSG surgery. It will do wonders for you. I know it sounds scary. I know it's kind of like you don't think that you could survive it, but it's very common. With that being said, I did my research for a good maybe 6 7 months. I just kept looking up the surgeries. I would be on YouTube and look up people that had this done. I even know a few people personally that's had it done. So as time went on, I started getting comfortable with the thought of it. And I just kind of felt like every time my doctors approached me on it, I even seen commercials about it, or ran into some type of literature about it just by accident. I felt like that was God telling me, like, Marilyn, just see what happens. I'm not going to steer you wrong. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. You know, it just kind of made me feel like maybe there's a possibility. Okay. So with that being said, The very last time I did see, not the very last time, but at least a year ago when I did see my doctor, just on a regular random checkup, I brought up the VSG surgery to them and told them that I think I'm ready. Of course, they were overly elated about it, you know. I mean, I get it. They want to help people and they want to see people get back on the good foot and get healthy. But, it's scary not knowing the unknown. I've had many surgeries, and, this by far to me was the biggest. I mean, I thought you needed your whole stomach to survive. I never heard of anyone getting their stomach cut out. Not the whole stomach, but most of it, 80%. That's a lot. And you only have 20% on your own. Like, I didn't know you could really live off of that little bit of a stomach. So, my doctor started setting me up with appointments. It is a process. It is something that you have to go through for a good 6 months with seeing different doctors, checking in with your primary care doctor. Um, you have to start eating right, because along with you waiting to get approved, because you do have to get approved by your insurance, and that can be a little testy. So that was my biggest thing too, hoping and praying I got approved, but they do say they mostly do approve patients that have a high BMI. My BMI was high. I want to say my BMI was about 42, 44. That is high. So, and then of course you have to be a certain weight. And then because of my illnesses I had, like the diabetes is a big deal, they considered that. So, with that being said, I got approved. I got approved. I was happy, but then I got really nervous and scared because I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. This is the real deal now. Now I'm going to start coming to the doctor regularly to get different things done, to make sure my body is fit to have the surgery. So I had to come in, get weighed every time. And when you get weighed now, just because you're having this surgery doesn't mean you should just start eating everything in sight, okay? Um, you still need to watch what you eat. You still need to exercise. And you just need to be mindful of what's to come. So I was eating right anyway, sometimes, but most of the time I was eating right. I was active. I could have been more active, but I started getting active more. Um, so because when I went in to see my doctor, I wanted to make sure there was a weight loss somewhere. Even if it was at a standstill, that's fine too. But the no gaining, they didn't want to see that, or else they feel like, are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Along with this, seeing my regular primary care doctor, I also had to go see a therapist. They got to make sure that mind is right. Got to make sure that you know what you're getting into, that you're sure this is something you want to do, because this is a life forever change in your body. Okay, this isn't no fly by night, or oh, this is just for a few months and then, if I go back to where I was, so be it. No, this is a life changing thing. And so to do something this major, they want to make sure you're intact upstairs, and yet that you're level headed, and that you definitely want to do this. I only seen the therapist once. I think you might see the therapist more than once sometimes for people that are still kind of on the level of, I don't know, I'm not sure, I want to do it, but at the same time, I'm not sure. But I was very sure, I was very confident seeing the therapist and letting them know it's time, it's time, it's time. And I want to live. I want to live. Who doesn't want to live? I would hope everybody wants to live, but I was ready to make a major change for the good. I also had to see a heart specialist. We have to see our heart specialist to make sure your heart is healthy enough to go through this kind of intense procedure. I do have an enlarged heart. Um, I mean, I breathe okay. My heart doesn't stop every now and then. They just say they see that my heart is larger than usual. And it's not really a big concern, but they just want to make sure. So I saw the heart specialist twice, and I had to go through some heart testing to make sure my heart's beating okay, and it could deal with strenuous things and stuff like that. Did some exercising, real strenuous exercising for my heart with the heart specialist. Um, what else did we do? We did blood work, of course. Had to do blood work a few times. Checked my A1C, make sure it was staying low. Um, let's see what else. And, oh, the most important one. I mean, this is important too. This is I don't. It's not the most important, but everything was important. But I had to see a dietitian on a regular. Ooh, and I had to monitor my food. That was kind of not tough for me, but I'm not one to journal. I like journaling, but I just don't keep up with writing everything down that I eat, that I drink, what time I ate it, how much I ate. It's all mentally up here for me, and I keep it in track like that. But I get it. They want you to write it down because they want you to be accountable for what you're taking inside your body. So I had to do that the whole time that I was, being seen before the surgery. And every time I came in to see the doctor, I had to bring my journal in to show them what I was eating so that they could see and correct anything that was off, or if I could do this a little more or do that a little more. So that was okay, but it was just a big change. And while I was going through these steps of getting ready for the surgery, it really made me see how serious this is, that this is a life-changing thing, and you want to be on board for it, so you got to do it right. So let's see. Mm, I started this journey back in last April. Yeah, last April. And by let's see, by no, not August, I'm sorry. I started, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't start this journey last April. I started this journey a year ago this month. Yeah, this month. I started this journey as far as getting myself prepared. In April of last year is when I got approved. That's what I meant to say. So, yes, so from October to April, I went through all the steps of, getting approved and sticking with what I need to do to get the surgery. And then in April, I got that glorious phone call that I didn't expect. And then I didn't expect it really that soon in a way because of the COVID. Everything was being pushed back a lot. Even my appointments, I was going in at first, but then when the COVID really got serious, I started having appointments on the phone, teleconferences. So I wasn't even going in to get seen. I just had to show them my results and, what I've been doing on the phone. So that was a little discouraging in a way because I like to be upfront and personal. I want them to see what's really going on and look at me and see how I look, and if they can tell I've lost weight or, things changing. Um, so yeah, last April, well, this April, excuse me, I got the call. I was at work and they had told me that I had gotten approved for the weight loss surgery. So then it became real. Real. Um, I got excited. I was nervous, really nervous now because this is it. It's gonna happen. So I had all these thoughts in my head going back of like, ooh, do I want to do this, or am I sure I want to do this? But I was sure. I was ready. I was ready. I was ready for a new me. Okay. And so once April came and left, again, they were still keeping up with me through teleconference, of what I've been doing, making sure my blood is okay. I would go into the clinic to get blood work done, and then I would leave because they wanted to keep up with the blood. Um, when it came time for them to call me for the actual appointment date, that took a little while. So I got told in April I got approved, and then they said usually it takes 30 days later, 40, 50 days later to be told the date. But that didn't happen for me because of the COVID. The COVID was really out of whack then. So I didn't know when I was going to get the surgery. So now I started going, getting depressed and sad over it. But at least I still knew I got approved. And as long as that stayed the same, I was okay. And I kept staying on course of what I was eating and, trying to keep up with being active. So let's see, around July, yeah, July, I got another phone call at work. It seems like I was at work every time I got a call about my VSG surgery. Um, they called and said, "Well, Marilyn, we have some dates for you." I was sweating, like, really? Like, oh my God. Even with the dates, I still said, oh yeah, what, in 6 more months I can have the surgery or something, because I figured with the COVID and then the appointments that were already scheduled to have surgery, they had to catch up with them. They had to, get back on track with those people first. I figured, oh yeah, I won't be going in any time soon. So when they ever told me that we have an availability for August. Now, mind you, it was July. July. And they said, we have something available for next month. We have 3 openings next month. I was stumped. I didn't know what to think, what to say. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So, they had a beginning of the month appointment, a middle of the month, and an end of the month. Because I waited this long and I was excited, I just wanted to get it over with. I didn't want to wait to the end of August or even the middle. I just said, "Yep, I'll take that first week. I'll take that first week in August. Just let's do this. Let's get it in." Because then, too, I thought, what if COVID really, because COVID started settling down quite a bit for the hospitals to start doing surgeries again. So I said, what if COVID kicks in and it starts acting up again, and then I have to miss my appointment for the surgery? No, because that happened with some people, and I can only imagine how depressing that was. So I said, I'll take the first week. So I believe my surgery was August 2nd. My surgery was August 2nd, and oh my God, it came quick. It came quick. The job that I was doing at the time, it was just a temp job. So it was ending anyway. So it was almost like, again, God came in and said, well, Marilyn, your job is over here. Now we need to start on you. Let's start the job on you. So it worked out perfectly. I didn't have to ask for no time off. I didn't have to ask for, can I be out for so many weeks, anything like that, because I didn't have a job. And that was all right with me for the moment. I needed a rest, anywho. So, I ended working the end of July, and actually, no, I ended working the third week in July, and the fourth week in July, I just took that whole week for myself, just to relax, set things up around my house to get ready for my surgery because I know I wouldn't be moving around much. Just meditating a lot and thinking about what this is going to do for me and how it's going to change my life, and just thanking all my blessings, and just getting myself mentally prepared, really. And I was scared. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was scared, but I was confident too at the same time that everything's going to work out and everybody's going to be okay. I mean, my family, my friends, everybody was very supportive. My husband was so supportive, and he was scared to death. And even the whole week of me waiting for the surgery, all he would say every day, Marilyn, please don't do it. Please don't get the surgery. Please, please, please. But I get it. That was just a bag of nerves. He wanted me to do it. He knew it would be good for me. But at the same time, it is scary to see a loved one go under the knife and then for a major surgery like that. But he was very supportive and he was happy for me. So, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's for you, nobody else, and you got to listen to yourself. Even though you got other people in your ear saying this, saying that, some of them positive, some of them negative. At the end of the day, it's about you. And it's about what you want to do for you. So I went with that for myself, you know. And because everything checked out well with my body throughout the whole 6 months of them checking me out, I was okay. I was okay with the surgery. I was okay that there would be no complications. So, like I said, on August 2nd, I got the surgery because of COVID. Nobody could really come in the hospital with me. That was kind of scary. I was kind of sad. My husband dropped me off. You know, um, he was sad, but I said it's gonna be okay. It's in God's hands. Just pray for me. Pray for us. We had a long prayer in the car, and he drove off, and I just reassured him when surgery's over. And, I get my faculties because I knew I was going to be a little under it, you know, groggy. I will definitely call and talk to you. And the nurses were so good. They had, his number to let him know how I was going, how I was doing step by step. So all that was reassuring for me, that they kept up with him to let him know I was okay. So, I was in the waiting area, and that particular morning, there was like six of us. We were all having the same surgery. We were all having the same surgery. They had us all in one room, spaced out apart, of course, because of the COVID. And they started calling us like two at a time to the surgery, up to where we're going to go and get, changed and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really becoming real. So, um, everybody went upstairs but me. Like when they called people two at a time, three at a time, people were going up. So I was the last one sitting in the waiting area. And I'm like, well, why am I still sitting here? And, you know, nobody said nothing to me. So then one of the attendants came over and said to me, you're here for surgery, ma'am? I said, yes. What type of surgery are you having? I said, I'm having the VSG surgery. When I checked in, that's what I said to you guys. I mean, I don't know if you were listening. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I should have brought you up there with the rest of the group. I'm sorry. So I said, it's okay. So he brought me up to the surgery department by myself, me and him in the elevator. And I was like, I don't know, maybe God wanted me to be by myself. Mm. But anywho, I got upstairs. The nurses were really nice and welcoming. You go to the room where you got to go and change into your, beautiful gown that they give you to sleep in, have surgery in, um, you know, um, so that they can start to prep you up to get that lovely IV in your hand, which is what I always get because my veins in my arm just don't seem to cut it. So I always get it in my hand. Oh, it's the worst. I don't even know. Sometimes I think that's worse than the surgery itself. Especially if you have a nurse that don't know how to get your vein. Okay? But anywho, I got dressed in my gown and everything. Got in the bed, sat and waited for all these different types of nurses to come and explain to me over and over again the procedure. And of course, they ask you over and over again, what type of surgery are you having? Because they want to make sure you know what you're having. Okay. And they check your wristband because you have your name and your hospital number on it and your birth year on it. So they want to make sure they got the right person. So that happened a few times with different doctors, The anesthesiologist also comes in and explains the anesthesia they're going to give you and what it's going to make you feel like, and just checking on you to make sure you're all right, and, trying to make you get comfortable. Of course, you're nervous. They see it all over your face. But me, when I get nervous, I start sweating. So I was a little nervous, because again, all the surgeries I've had before, I've always had my husband there with me before I actually, go to the surgery operating room. They usually used to let you sit, a companion or a friend or a family member sit with you in the room till it's time to go. But this time I was by myself. So I was just sitting there thinking about a lot of stuff, my kids, my husband, my parents, my friends, and of course, I go into my prayer mode with the Lord and just ask Him to keep an eye on me, watch over me, get me through this, help the doctors get their hands right and, do the surgery and, you know, everything smooth sailing. So, once the anesthesiologist came in and started and getting ready to put the anesthesia in me, I was like, oh, here it is. This is it. This is it. Okay, and when they go into that, first we're going to give you something to make you a little comfortable. That's when you know it's going down. Because that little bit of comfortableness they give you, it knocks you out. I actually think I fell asleep before the anesthesia really kicked in. I think. Because I remember them putting something in my IV for the comfortability. And then I started getting woozy. And then I was out. But I also know they stand behind you too when they're putting in the medicine in your IV, just to throw you off like you don't know that they're behind you doing that. You know what I mean? I think it's all just their tactic of so you don't get freaked out when you see the needle going in the IV, and then oh no, this is it. And then they put that mask on your face for breathing. Okay. And then all I know is once I go to sleep, it just seems like I just wake right back up. Like you go to sleep and it seems like you wake up and you're like, when are you guys going to start? And they're telling you, we're done. We took care of you already. I'm like, really? Like it's that sleep is a fast sleep for me. But you know what? It's the best sleep. Like I have some good dreams when I go to sleep. Okay, so it was a good sleep, good dreams. I wake up. I've never really had a problem waking up from anesthesia. Um, I'm not really that groggy. I'm sleepy, but I'm not cranky or moody or nauseous, or feeling sick like a lot of people say they have that experience after waking up from anesthesia. I'm just really sleepy, and I'm like that for the rest of the day, okay? But nevertheless, everything went well with the surgery. The doctor said there was no complications. If I can remember, I think he said the surgery was only 35 minutes. I'm like, really? You took my stomach out and it was only 35 minutes? I'm like, oh, okay. That's good to know. That it was okay going in, taking it out, and, patching me back up. Um, so I had to stay overnight, of course. Some surgeries, some of the people I've known, they went home the same day, but I stayed. They had me stay overnight, and it wasn't so bad. Of course, once the anesthesia wore off and the numbing medicine they give you to put in your that they, put in your stomach wears off, you're like, ooh, I feel something. It doesn't feel that great. I had pain. It wasn't extensive pain. It wasn't like, oh my God, my stomach pain. I mean, they give you pain medicine while you're there, to tolerate it and stuff like that. But it wasn't really bad. Just little times I would turn and toss or move. I could feel it. And I also had on one of those belts that they put on your stomach, like a waist trainer belt to hold everything in, to hold your stomach together. because that also they say helps with the pain, which I believe it does because I took the belt off a few times because I could not breathe. Like they pull that thing on you, you hear me? Like suffocating you. And it bothered me. I'm like, this is too tight. But I get why they did it. But I'm like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Okay, so I would take it loose. The nurse would come in to check my vitals and be like, Miss Roberts, you took the belt off again. You have to keep it on. I'm like, I get it, but it hurts. It's too tight. You put it on too tight. Well, it has to be, a certain um, tightness to it, to keep things together. And I understand that, but every time they left my room, I would loosen it because I'm not going to lay there and suffer like that. And then on top of that, you start taking in your liquids. I had to do those, taking those little sippy cup liquids, 2-ounce cups, sip every so many minutes. And even drinking that, I was it made me feel like I was so full, I couldn't even finish the little 2-ounce cup. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to loosen this little belt so that I could get something down. Okay. So that went on for most of the night, off and on. They came in the room, checked my vitals, and checked the belt because I wasn't good with that. And then I also had those compression ankle, well, not ankle, but compression leg things on boot. They're they're not socks, but they're like a wrap around your leg to keep your legs from getting blood clots. So those they would compress on and off like a blood pressure cuff, off and on. So I had to keep those on. But the most annoying part was when I had to get up to go to the bathroom, and I peed a lot because of the fact of the IV bag. That's all I had for nourishment was the IV bag, and I think I had like 4 bags while I was there, maybe 5. Every time a bag got empty, here they come with another one. I'm like, oh my God. And I had to keep getting up to go to the bathroom. Now I was hooked up to the IV pole with my medication for pain. I had an IV pole for just the IV bag itself. And then I had to take off the compression leg things to get up to go to the bathroom. I had to do that every time I had to go to the bathroom. On top of course, they want you to walk, get up and walk the hall, to get the gas out because you have built up gas from when they do your surgery and they blow you up with air, and from that comes gas, and then just the gas in general from the surgery. So it was just really a nuisance. You know what I'm saying? Like to do all that every time I had to get up to go to the bathroom. But I had to go because if I waited really too long, I was going to go on myself. Okay? So I had to do what I had to do. But it was kind of good too because it made me get up and move so that way I can get my body going and get my blood flowing, instead of just laying there, because that was the last thing they wanted you to do was lay there, you know, um, because of blood clots. So I did do that. The night went okay. I slept good. But of course, they come out in and out your room all night. So the next day came. I still had some discomfort, but not as much as the day before. And they let me go home. Yep. They didn't even ask for a bowel movement, which that's what I thought they were going to do. But I think they were just really concerned on as long as I was peeing okay and the fluid was